Laurel Highlands Hiking Trail 70-mile ultra this weekend. This is my pre-race plan, strategy, whatever you want to call it. There's also 50K and a relay, but I'm just doing the 70. This will be the 5th time I do the 70-miler during the race. You know, I train on the course itself throughout the year, so I'm very familiar with it. I live 5 minutes from mile 70. Goes from Ohio Powell, which is mile 0, to Sword, which is mile 70. I did a 50K one year as well. I will say this, I finished all 4 times that I've attempted it so far. I'm hoping this year will be the 5th. This is actually the 45th anniversary of the race. So I'm going to hope to keep the streak continue, and maybe even continue on the 10 and hit it the 10th for the 50th anniversary. You know, might be a little neat thing to do. Anyway, I've never really had a good race. Every year something seems to go on. My legs fail me. Last year I had like heat stroke, dehydration / I fell and lost all my energy. So I'm actually looking forward to this year, hopefully putting on a solid race the whole time, running within myself, running comfortably so I can finish with a respectable time. My best time was 16:02 in 2019, I believe. In 2018 I did 16:51. Last year was like 18 hours, and then one other year was I think like 17:58 or something like that. I might have switched those last 2 up, but whatever. So the last couple of times that I ran it were actually slower times. Like I said, last year was just a horrible year in general, and I spent a couple hours at aid station just because I was in such a bad shape. And even though that 16:02 or 05 in 2019 is a very respectable time, I'm a way better trail runner now, an endurance athlete. So there's no reason why I can't think I could best that time by at least an hour or 2. So that's what I'm shooting for. I have a couple goals. I'm going to run them down in importance to least important, which is obviously finishing the race, then finishing before dark. That's a big one. That's really my main goal besides finishing. Obviously, like I said, it's the second most important because I've always wanted to finish this race before dark. That's about 14 hours and 45-minute range, you know, when it gets dark in the woods. Then it's to beat a couple people who were doing the race this year. Had some shit talking done last year, before the race, after the race, and even during the course of the race itself. And now a couple of those people are doing it again, so I definitely want to beat them this year time-wise. Then the goals that I don't think are achievable, but I'm still going to shoot for if possible, which is top 3, then to win, and then set the course record. Setting the course record's pretty much out the door. I don't think I have that in me. Winning the race, I probably have, I don't know, 0.01% chance. It's so slim. In top 3, I might have a 10% chance of cracking that. Basically what it comes down to is my other goals are so much more important, which is beating the other people, finishing before dark, and finishing the race. They so much supersede top 3 course record and finishing first than anything. Plus I don't want to put my body in that situation where I'm beating it up so bad that I can't do nothing for the next couple weeks, because this is no longer an A race for me per se. Coming into the year, World's End 50K, Laurel Highlands were my 2 A races of the year. Since I won World's End last weekend, it took a lot of pressure off of this, so I don't care as much now. But if I did horrible last week, this was going to be my A race, so there's a lot less pressure and stress off my back from winning World's End last week, so I could pretty much run the race I want this week and run within myself. So we'll see how it goes. I set up 2 pace pro strategies. I don't know which one I'm going to take yet. First one is 12 and a half hours, which is a 10:58 pace. That's really the time that I would love to shoot for. I don't really think it's possible, but if I go for that one, it still gives me like a 2.5 hour buffer to finish before dark. So I think I'm probably going to go with that one. The other one is 14 hours and 15 minutes, which is a 12-minute, 30-second pace. That's the other one that I set up. Again, I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. If I go with the 14 hours and 15 minutes, that leaves me like a 15-minute to 30-minute buffer before dark. But it lets me run and try to beat negative all day long, split wise, and keep banking time, whereas the 12:30, I'm probably going to end up putting pluses in all day long. So it's like a mental strategy. Which one do I want to go with? Do I want to go with one that I feel I could bank time on all day long, or one that I'm going to probably fall behind but use it as motivation to keep going stronger and run harder? So we'll see. Strategy wise, I'm going to take it easy early on. We're going to be running in the dark for the first few miles unless it gets really bright. I don't know what the moon phases are, so I can't go off of that, but generally speaking, we're probably going to run the first 2 to 5 miles in the dark, so I'm going to need a headlamp. So I plan on running with a group of people early on, so I want to be top 5, top 10 for those first like 8 miles, and then figure out how things are going. And I want to stay behind. I don't want to be in the lead or even necessarily second, like from gate to 8. I want to use those people and use their light, so I don't have to worry about my footing as much. Just use their light on the trail to my advantage while I'm taking it easy and saving energy for later in the race. And then after gate to 8, slowly start I guess sort of increasing my effort. Still not going all out until mile 25, 26 range, after 7 Springs. Let's see how things go. My dad's gonna start crewing me at Route 31. He's gonna have like watermelon, grapes, peanut butter pretzels for me, Fit Aid, ginger ale, Coke. He's gonna have a bunch of gear changes for me, like my vest, my poles, another waist belt, rain jacket, just the normal jacket, some like bandages and stuff like that, some ice, things that I'm going to rely on to get me through the race, especially if I start to fall apart a little bit. I really don't want to take poles until 271, which is mile 57, maybe 46, because that way I don't have to take a vest. I'm trying to run as light as possible. I'm going to go shirtless, Under Armour ISO Chill shorts, Speedgo 3 waist belt, so I can have 2 20-ounce bottles on me, which worked really great last week at World's End. I filled the whole vest up with stuff that I needed, and I didn't notice any weight. So that's what I'm going to start with. My MP3 player, my hat, my new Peregrine 13s that I just got the other week, calf sleeves, gaiters, Oil Creek socks. That's going to be my setup for the morning. Again, going to be running cool in the morning. Temperatures are going to be a little bit lower, like we'll say 50, 60 range. So it's going to be nice without a shirt on. With that ice later that my dad will have, I'll be able to put ice in baggies and just keep it close to my chest and stuff to keep myself cooler than ice falling out of pockets and shit like that, and just splashing water on myself, which could dry very quickly. Then you have to keep reapplying it just to stay open pored, you know what I mean, because you keep that salt off so your pores stay open a little bit more. So that's going to be an advantage, hopefully, because the second half of the course is a lot drier. There's really no place to splash water on yourself, especially from 271 in. So I need that ice to keep my body cool. I'm hoping I don't have to do any night ops where I'm running with a headlight to finish the race. That's why I want to finish before dark. If I do, it means I'm probably having a bad day. I don't have a pacer, so I'll be running by myself. So if I'm running at dark, I'll probably hang back even more and lose some more time and pick up somebody that's still coming up from behind me, so we could run together in the dark, use our lights together to see the trail a little bit better. Even though I know the trail, I know there's a lot of little things that you could trip on, like rocks and roots, that you think you're not, you're going to clear with your feet, especially on tired legs, but you end up tripping on. And I'll have pulls if I know I'm going to be running in dark, to keep myself upright a lot easier. So we'll see how that goes. But again, if I know I'm going to run into the dark, and I'm out of like the top 3, top 5, then I'm probably going to hang back a lot more, take it easy so I don't beat my body up, because I really don't want to beat my body up more than I have to. If I'm out of contention of my other goals, finishing before dark and beating some people that I want to beat. And then if I'm definitely not going to win the race or finish top 3, then it's time to relax a little bit and just save yourself for other races in the coming weeks. And just more importantly, finish the race healthy. Well, healthiest I could be at that point if I'm having a bad race. Don't want to battle any injuries or get black toenails or blisters or anything like that stupid. Weather looks good. Should be about 75, 78 degrees at the top of the day. So the second half of the race is just going to suck the life out of you, because the humidity in those type of woods that we run through, the second half, like the ferns and the flora, fauna, or whatever the F word is, it just sucks all the moisture right off you. And I know that going in. So to plan for that, the second half to be a lot hotter. But second half is where I'm a lot more familiar with the course, and I feel like that plays to my strength a lot more, with like the rolling hills, and a little bit of a decline the rest of the way. So that is a strength of mine. So if I start out running slower early on and I run comfortably, then I can turn it on after 7 springs, like mile 26. I think I'll be in good shape. And just let people burn out, because people are going to be going faster than, we'll say, 11 minutes earlier in the race. Chances are, high chances are that they're going to fade later in the race, so I'll just let them be. So if somebody wants to drop 7-8 minutes the first 4 or 5 miles, so be it. Don't get caught up with them, because they're not going to be able to maintain that pace, and they're just going to be blowing up so much more energy they're not going to be able to maintain. So I got to remember to stay within myself, and use my Pace Pro, and just concentrate on that, then my competition early on. Also, I got to make it till 10:30 in the morning. That's seems to be when my body's waking up for these ultras now, just because we have to get up so early. When we have to get up at like 3, 4 in the morning to get to the start of an ultra at like 5, my body lags those first couple hours, but then 10:30, my body wakes up and it's like a flip of a switch, and it becomes like go time. So to me, as long as I'm within striking distance of, say, top 3, top 5, or even ahead of the people I want to beat, and my Pace Pro by 10 o'clock, I'll be sitting pretty, because once my body flips that switch and turns on, I should be able to close a pretty good distance. So even though that's 5 hours into the race, as long as somebody doesn't have 2 hours on me by then, I feel like I can close the gap on those goals, the other goals that I have. And that's sort of my plan as well. Let other people burn out, me close the distance later, wait till my body wakes up, and then go from there. And again, just run comfortably all race. Stay within that 140 to 155 heart rate. try to keep it below 160 and not push or start blowing up, using a bunch of energy unnecessarily. That's usually what happens. So try to stay within myself from that gate to 8, which is the hardest part of the whole course. Actually, the first half of the course, the first 30 miles, is probably got 7,000 or 8,000 out of the 11,000 feet of gain. Something like that. I forget what the number is offhand. So I'm just going to try to stay within myself and attack and wait till the strengths come into play. Especially if I would happen to run at night, even though I hate running at night, and there's something weird that always happens mentally on this course at night compared to other ones, I still know it, so it's not like I'm going to worry about getting lost. It's just a mental thing. I don't know. I just hope I have a good race. I'm going to use that baking powder again to try to save my body, even take some more and give them to my dad. Use noon caffeine for my hydration. And just rely on the first couple aid stations that I really won't need anything until that like Seven Springs Route 31 time frame. And then really dial in my gear, what I need the rest of the day. Even if I need a shoe change or sock change, I'll have my dad there. I don't know, it's just going to be uncharted territory this year because it's going to be the longest race that I've done this year so far. And I do have some questions about what I'm going to need later on in the race, like gear-wise. Because I do have a bunch of options that I'm going to have available to me, like a waist light for later if I would happen to run in the dark, a jacket. If I do run in the dark, because I will cool down a hell of a lot. Even though the temperature still might be 70 or 65, I still need a jacket later on in the woods because I'll be running a lot slower, so I'll be cooled off pretty quickly. Things like that. I don't know. I just know after gate to 8, when it becomes more rollingness, I'll feel a lot more comfortable. And again, once I wake up, it'll be time to attack. So we'll see how things go with the race. But again, finish the race, finish before dark, beat a couple people that I want to beat, finish top 3, finish first, you know, set the course record. Because I feel last year, the way I felt before I fell and got hurt, I could have won the race. I should have won the race last year, and I was on pace to set the course record. I had the energy, but when I fell, everything fell apart. So I would like a little bit of redemption, but I'm not going to beat myself up trying to turn and burn all day long for, you know, 12, 14 hours and beat myself up. But I guess that's sort of my plan, my strategy. See how things go. Hopefully things go good. Hopefully I have a good day. Even if I don't meet a lot of my goals, still looking forward to the finish line, hanging out with everybody. And that's another reason why I want to finish before dark, so I can go home and take a shower, shit, and refuel. Since I live, again, 5 minutes from mile 70 at the finish line, then I can head back up, hang out with people, watch them all finish the rest of the night, which I like to do. Since it's, you got what, like 22 hours or something to finish the race. So if I can finish in 12 to 14 hours, even if it's like 15, you know, I can head back up for, you know, 4 or 5 hours and watch people finish and cheer people on to the very end. And I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. Not just racing, but hanging out with people and hearing everybody talk after the race and hear their stories and how their race went and how they liked the trail. Because I feel like me being local to the trail, not one of the stewards of the trail, but, you know, one of those people with the most knowledge of it. So I always like to hear how people attacked it, you know, what they thought of it and stuff like that. So looking forward to that as well. And I think that's my good little pre-race recap, since I got to go in there and go to work. If I forgot anything, I'll touch it up on my actual race recap and not my pre-race strategy.